Welcome to the Fantasy Fox podcast. This is podcast number 15, and this is me, Jordan Fantasy Fox. Let's kick it off by giving the Week 14 leaders. At quarterback, it was Russell Wilson. Running back, Isaiah Crowell. Wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. At tight end, Jordan Reed. The flex spot, Todd Gurley. For defense, the Panthers. And for the kicker this week, we had Chris Boswell. We had a lot of injuries this week, but some of the main ones were Thomas Rawls, running back of the Seattle Seahawks. He broke his ankle and he got put on IR, so his season has come to an end. Jonathan Stewart, he's out this week with a sprained knee, and LeGarrette Blount was put on IR because of a hip injury, so his season is also done. For the waiver wires this week, I got running back Tim Hightower of the Saints, who's going to replace Mark Ingram. And I got Christine Michael of the Seahawks, who they just signed him. They cut him earlier this year, but then the Cowboys got him. And then they cut him, and the Redskins picked him up for their practice squad. Then, funny enough, he got released the day before Rawls got hurt, so the Seahawks picked him back up. So I think that's going to be a good pickup this week. My Week 15 picks this week. For quarterback, I got Russell Wilson, number 1, Cam Newton, number 2, and Tom Brady, number 3. For running back, I got Adrian Peterson, number 1, Todd Gurley, number 2, and Chris Ivory, number 3. For wide receiver, I got DeAndre Hopkins, number 1, Julio Jones, number 2, and Doug Baldwin to round it out. For tight end, number 1, I got Rob Gronkowski. Number 2, I got Jordan Reed. And finally, I got Julius Thomas. For kickers this week, no shock here, Stephen Gostkowski, number 1, Graham Gano, number 2, and Chandler Catanzaro at number 3. For defense this week, I see the Seahawks having a big one. I got them at number 1. Got the Patriots at number 2. And we got the Jets to round that out. Sleepers this week, quarterback, I got Tyrod Taylor. Bills going up against the Redskins. Seemed to work last week with the Redskins, picking Jay Cutler as my sleeper quarterback. He did okay. He didn't do great, but I thought he'd do way better than he did last week. Running back, Christine Michael. Wide receiver, Tyler Lockett of the Seahawks. Tight end, Julius Thomas, who's really come along lately. Kicker, Mason Crosby. And we got the Texans defense. So that really closes out the podcast here, but I just want to finish off by seeing the playoff picture so far. I know my team, the Redskins, are definitely looking good, and I hope they make it. So far, it's looking like it, as long as we can win the last 2 out of 3 games. It's looking like we got it. Definitely need to beat Dallas in their house. I think the Eagles, that's an easy match to win. All right, for the AFC, for the playoff picture right now as it stands, Patriots are the number 1 seed. The Bengals are the number 2 seed. We got the Broncos at the 3 seed. Colts at the 4 seed. Chiefs at the 5th seed. And Jets at the 6th seed. That's all for the AFC first round, or just for the AFC. For the NFC, number 1 is obviously the Panthers. They're undefeated still. Cardinals, number 2. The Packers come in at number 3. Redskins at 4. Seahawks at 5, and the Vikings at 6. As a Redskins fan, I'm scared to see if the Seahawks are projected to play at the Redskins for the first wild card round. That kind of scares me a little bit, but hopefully it'll be redemption time if that's the case, and hopefully we'll just come out on top. So that wraps it up for this week's podcast number 15. I hope everyone had a great week last week in their matchups, and I hope that they have another great week this week. I know for me, in my 2 leagues that I'm competing in, this wraps up the first round of the playoffs, the 2-week playoffs for the first round, and so far I'm doing good so far, so hopefully keep it up. I've had some good pickups here and playing a lot of pickup guys that I really think are going to make a difference, like Christine Michael and Tim Hightower. So that does it for this podcast. Jordan Fantasy Fox signing out.